What is going on, bros and non-bros and dominoes? My friends, my people, what's up? A little bit of a down day in the market. The action was nasty for like a good hour and a half, and then it just chopped around. And we're back here testing the 50-day moving average. So today's video, let's take a look at the market indexes, then we'll go into the watch list. I think there's still a lot of good-looking names out there. You know, yes, we've had a couple down days, but you have to think about the magnitude, right, in the depth of the bounce, you know, from QQQ 423 to 485, 60 points, right? 60 points on 400 is quite a big move. And so now we spent, right, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days consolidating, and that kind of makes people get the heebie-jeebies. But, you know, overall the trend has opened up. Even if we pull back into kind of this zone over here, that would still be, I think, a bullish long-term move, and the trend would still be intact. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens tomorrow. You can see we've got just a clean level here that we can trade around. If we lose this, then we're probably coming back into this bone zone over here. And then we've got kind of a pocket of, you know, support from over here to maybe, you know, hold it down. So we'll see kind of what's going on tomorrow. You know, we had a couple things going today. Durable goods came out. I didn't think that was a huge deal. The market looked like it was holding up for a second. But, you know, lo and behold, around, let's go, right around, you know, 10 a.m., things started to speed up. And then, you know, by 10:30, it was done. The low had been made for the day. And we just goofed it around like literally all day. One of those days where kind of like if you think something's a short, it ends up popping, and when it pops, it fades. And, you know, that's range life in a nutshell. And so let's see kind of what holds true for the rest of the week. I don't believe that, you know, we are in some kind of mega trouble, but I do think we may, you know, if we lose this level, we could back and fill into this area. And I think that would be healthy. Frankly, you know, when you have a move like this, to retrace even to half the gain is actually a pretty normal, you know, and not out of the cards. But look, the 50-day is still holding. You got the 9 EMA right there. You got the 20 right under, and you've got a load of kind of price support suction there. So we have a lot of support. Let's see what's up. I thought, you know, even though large caps pulled back today, led by the semiconductors like ARM and AVGO, they themselves have not given back really any gains, right? They're at the same price that they've been at for the last week. So, yeah, like ARM was down 5 points today, but it's just inside this range. You know, one green candle makes a bear flag looks like a bull flag, you know, sometimes. And so just be mindful of that. Like, this is like, you still got a breakout setup that's probably setting up over there. You know, AVGO is a little bit different, right? It looks kind of a little bit more haphazard, right? But, you know, overall, like, this one's always been a more difficult. So, you know, I think out of the big caps, you got Dell that still looks clean, and you got ARM that could become clean. You know, and the rest of it, I think, is probably a stay away. You know, short Apple looks okay, too. But there's all this other heat that's happening here. So you can take this breakout on Apple. It probably, you know, will take it back up to here. But I don't know if it's really anything sexy. Let's take a look at some of these bad boys that are popping up today. GCI Gannett Company, right? A good old publishing, I believe. These guys were the guys that invented the Penthouse forums back in the day. Y'all remember, like, when you just read beautiful articles all the time? Man, that was peak reading right there, right? That was peak reading right there. So these guys, they're back from the dead, and 5.4 million shares at 20% move today. I didn't see what the news was. I just refinancing. They had earnings a little bit before that. So that's good. It's always good to refinance what you can, right? It's a pretty low market cap, 720 million. So not surprised by that. Looks pretty good. Let's see if we get a week open on this. I would not chase a gap up on this at all, but if we get a week open on this, I think this is a red to green. You can see there's some volume accumulation going on over here too. 9. Hey, some of these uraniums are still picking up. Uranium, nuclear, all, you know, pretty similar. But this is kind of a classic bottoming setup where you got this bottom, and then you kind of just make like a little bit of a, right? It looks like a, right? Kind of like that. We call that the pet the snake. right? We call that pet the snake. And so it's like, and that's a classic kind of bottoming pattern. I think you can roll with this one if it comes out of this range. Papa John's, didn't know these guys were still around. Looks fantastic. You know, this thing was obviously a couple $100 or $440. You've made a nice base breakout here. Base breakout will essentially look kind of like a W. And so you're starting to come out of this range. You closed above that right at that spot. And actually, the intraday range was pretty good too. You had 5 points, which is, you know, on 50 is pretty good. I think this is probably tradable. And, you know, frankly, if it holds here, it may even turn into a swing if we get the entry. Donut. You know, I'm looking for these kind of bottoming plays right now with the IWM kind of pushing. You got 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap. You got Pet the Snake right there. I mean, that one more looks like, you know, like a raccoon, but still, it looks pretty good. VSCO, after this breakout here, you got a nice flag pattern. It's got a good look to it. I think this can hold up too if it comes out and breaks 25. ASTS, you know, I've been thinking this thing's going to die forever, but here we are flagging again. End of day buyers in this thing, you know, that got me interested in it. The volume's been decreasing, but that's normal inside a flag to be expected. Let's see if this comes out. The rest of the space stocks were kind of weak today. RKLB did hold at the 9. And what's the other one? Lunar, that's been kind of in play. It also did hold at the 9. So these things aren't done yet, most likely. Space is still... I think these guys they're like the DoorDash of space, something like that. Don't quote me, but this is, I thought I read that, right? They're like the DoorDash of space, or they do something. I don't know, man. They deliver... That's what I read. I don't know, man. Fucking Twitter. You know, we do what we do. So, Docu, nice breakout over here. And you got a longer term breakout setting up on this. I want, you know, this in like stocks like ZM. These are kind of like, see these bigger kind of ranges on the bottom. You know, this is a mid-cappy name now. I mean, at one point it was a mega cap. But you got like, this is a weekly chart. You got a nice little range break on this one too. I think you got a good spot on this. So I think this has got a chance. Let's add that one. Love the overall look. It's not clean, like in terms of how it moves. It's got wicks because it lacks liquidity. It's got wicks, little shakeouts. But, you know, overall, it's just got a thing going here. Like, it's got a thing that's setting up, but it's going to take some massaging, you know. It's probably, you know, going to take a little bit of just love to get it going. But, man, it's got good range on this thing today. Like, I'm into it. Out of all the large caps, it's the only breakout setup I saw was old Costco. You know, you can actually trade calls on this pretty much. You got a flat top breakout here. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. You know, for me personally, like if I do peruse into this, you know, I'd probably roll in, you know, with like something like this, you know. The 925s would be too far, but, you know, 905s, you know, 910, maybe something like that, you know, because it moved 13 points today, so give it 2 days ATR. I think that could get you paid. If it breaks, you know, and you could even go out, right? If you go out a little bit, because it does tend to move quite a bit. If you go out a little bit, then I think you'll have probably a little bit more success with this. Doc, still, I got alert set here. If it ever breaks, I'm into it, right? And you know what you want to do with the alerts? You want to set them up even before they get there, right? So you kind of right-click over here, set one up, right? Maybe even a little bit lower, set one up, and you know, when it finally goes, it'll go. The only other large cap I like is possibly this Netflix. You got breakout. You got a little bit of a flag on the 9. This has got a good look to it. Let's add that one too. Adobe setting up for a 570 break. It's just meandering here on the MAs. It'll do that. Before a break, you'll kind of test into it and then come back through. That's, you know, very classic thing. And then I'm stalking this IBB. If this thing, you know, breaks through, this is probably more of an IRA type of play, you know, where you could do a longer term swing. You could throw this IRA 401k. You could probably, I don't even know if it trades options or not. You could probably go a little bit out and catch yourself. They look like they're fucking cheap, right? So You can go out a little bit, go out like a month, and get the 105s or something, and dude, you might get paid on that. You could hit 105 in a day or two, right? Dropbox, test. You got a breakout spot right here. Needs a little bit more marination before it breaks out. Then we'll see what's up. And then I got this U also bottoming pattern. Looks fantastic. And then this mRNA looks like it could drop if ever low, breaks down that level. Not that interested in shorts yet. I'd rather just kind of short some of the big caps if I need to do it. But overall, it's got a decent look to it. I thought ELF also had a bear flag, but man, it trades so thin. SMCI got rejected off its flag and broke this support. Actually, a decent sized down day, 50 points. So I think if we need a short, that could be something too. 9 million shares traded, so it's pretty fair enough liquid. I got a love-hate kind of thing with this damn stock, But what can you do? What can you do, man? What can you do with the Klondike bar? Now, a couple things to just remember is, take it easy. While we're kind of basing out into this breakout, you may get some back and filling in here, right? Like you're at resistance. Resistance resists sometimes. Like it's very natural to get a back and fill. I wouldn't even be surprised. This is oftentimes what you'll see is like this kind of one day big dump, and it sucks it in, and then the next day it goes. So that's where I think personally, I'm more interested in kind of loading up on maybe some of the bigger names. In the meantime, we got some of these PR plays and kind of these mediums to trade. Let's go have some fun, guys. I love you guys. Peace.